And if you're not a PrisonPlanet.tv member or InfoWarsNews.com, now is the time to become one. Our membership's just been exploding in the last year with all the great reporters, and people are sharing their membership with up to 11 people simultaneously with your username and passcode so that friends and family can go watch the nightly news when it airs live or when we go to tape to air, or all the special reports and my films, PrisonPlanet.tv, ebooks, and so much more. And you're funding the very tip of the spear in the info war. Also, please don't forget, this hour was brought to you by mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. Great organic, high-quality, storable foods, and so much more. 866-229-0927. You're crazy if you don't have storable foods. This is the place to get them. Check out their site, mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. We only promote the best. All right, I wanted to finish up with Shimon. This is all over the news, that kids' brains have been rewired by tablets and iPhones, that children watch an average of over 8 hours of television a day and video games combined. Adults, it's up to 5 hours on average or more. People don't do things. They respond and are programmed by the fake garbage projected through the corporate stream media that tells you your kids aren't yours, 2 + 2 = 5. I mean, it is like an enemy transmission to literally fry our brains. And it's an all-encompassing system. It's hard to get out of it. And yes, I've seen the news stories about girls aren't playing with dolls anymore. That's been done overall. They're phasing it out. Any culture, you could take boys out in the field and girls out in the field. The boys will start getting weapons and acting like they're hunting or fighting. The girls will start building a tent and practicing making dinner. And we'll tell the boys, come in and eat, and I mean, that's what humans do as a team, as a military operation, is support each other. I mean, we literally fought the elements, the animals, the whole 9 yards. It was a military operation. Predating any military, men and women on a team. And there's nothing stronger, and it's us against the world. And if you were dishonorable to your family, you would be thrown out of the tribe. But then agrarian society started, and it allowed a priest class to form that didn't do work and could separate themselves in the temple and tell everyone else outside what to do. And use superstition, the stars and other things, tell them a goblin's eating the moon during an eclipse and things like that, predict it's coming because they kept track of it to scare everybody. And out of that, you got the Illuminati today, which just means the occult, the hidden ones. Those that know, that are illuminated. You don't know, they know. You're in darkness, they're in light. But they use the fact that they're in light not to give you the Promethean fire. They want to keep you from the fire because they don't deserve the Promethean fire. They're not really the Illuminati. They are the false Illuminati. Illuminati only means elimination. How many passages in the Bible talk about God, the truth will set you free, will illuminate, the light of God? The devil is the false light. The Illuminati is not the true Illuminati. It's only words we're talking about. They are counterfeits. They don't illuminate. They only illuminate for themselves a limited illumination. Like a fish that can see in the dark and you're a fish that can't, they eat you. Or an owl that can see in the dark and you can't see. So I want to get to these reports by reporters and more of your calls if I have time. I think I'll have time from Jim and Marianne and Shane and John. But Shimon, you're saying you make dolls and you're seeing that the girls just get them and set them down. Well, that's because they were set down and they weren't given, mother's milk, most of them. They were given formula to make their brain small. Their genes weren't activated by being cared for so that they would want to care for others. They have no tribal bonding. Their ancient memories have not been activated. They, to a certain extent, are biological androids. Their epigenetics have not been activated, and so they are basically the proto-android. There is humanity in them, but you notice they have an arrogance. You notice they enjoy following the system, a self-satisfaction. They call it narcissism, but it's beyond that. It's following an imaginary program of success because they live in the fake culture. So they're in a matrix. And so I would suggest the way to activate, if there's not other small children in the house, is get them a puppy. And then feeding the puppy, squeezing the puppy, kissing the puppy. There's smells that are close enough associated with Homo sapiens sapien pheromones in a baby mammal that it may trigger mothering instincts in their epigenetics and then trigger genetic activation, in layman's terms, in the cerebral cortex.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that the natural instinct to be female all the way in a girl child is there, but somehow it's being covered up or distorted or even erased by culture, because the young girls that initially want the dolls, and they're very expensive, they, within a short time, they seem to get into a clique of, I'm showing how cool I am by rejecting the baby.
Look,
to me, that's very frightening.
They did a decade, you can look it up, of research in the 30s and 40s before they rolled out formula on what to feed kids that wouldn't kill them outright, but would brain damage them. We've been under total warfare. I mean, it's a miracle that anybody can even talk or tie their shoelaces at this point. I mean, we've been under full-on assault. The number one thing a mother can do is give their baby at least 3 months, bare minimum, of the milk. And it's got all the chemicals, the natural compounds in it that will fully activate the brain. In fact, I heard Ben Fuchs last week doing an hour on this. I want to get him on next week, or maybe this week, a full hour on what's in breast milk. And I'm telling you, it will become a conspiracy punishable by re-education within 20 years to say women ever breastfed. I'm not joking when I say that.
Wow.
No, I'm serious. They are rewriting. I mean, listen, and this happens in all mammal species, but it really happens in birds. When males cease to be males, birds can actually flip sex and actually become a male. When they put chemicals into only the male chickens, the female chickens will convert to males and fertilize their own eggs. So this is real, folks. So I want to explain something to people. It is an evolution over millions of years, like they tell you. It's like that, folks. It happens in one generation. Okay, that's what the churches won't tell people. It's a scientific fact. So what I'm getting in here in layman's terms, but it's in the literature, is that the men have been programmed with chemicals to not be men, so women at a primitive level are stepping up, like all the men got killed out on a seafaring mission or got killed by a neighboring tribe. Women will step up and start acting like men if they sense men have been annihilated. So they've annihilated men culturally, so women are activating for survival and taking on male traits. You understand? And
that's true. I agree 100%. 100%. That's exactly what's happening.
Well, we've got to fight back against it. God bless you. There it is. Strange but true. Males can lactate. Scientific American. So, I mean, this is a scientific, positronic, technocratic warfare grid on record. It's just incredible that we're alive during this. I mean, this is mega massive. You should write an article. You should do a YouTube about it. You should talk about it. It's in the water. It's in the food. It's in the culture. This is the end of humanity. This is it. And that means for all you so-called elites, your kids are going to be screwed up. You're going to have a heart. They're going to have diabetes. They're going to have hepatitis. They're going to have all of it. I mean, cancer. We're done. And they got to have the police state in place before we go from 10,000% increases in pediatric cancer to 20, 30,000, to where half your block's dying. And then they're going to use the crisis of the medical emergency you're already seeing to bring you into the government health care and the death panels. I want to go to a Dan Bidandi piece from Operation Shield that was held 2 days ago in Boston in a total police state. Here's one of our East Coast reporters, the intrepid Dan Bidandi.
And today we're in Boston, Massachusetts, downtown, and we're going to ask the general public their thoughts about Operation Urban Shield that's taking place today. Multiple terrorism drills all over the city that involve federal agencies. Hi, do you know what the drills are for today?
For terrorist, like, attacks.
For terrorism?
Just general terrorism, preparedness. For safety?
No, not quite.
The only thing I can think is maybe sort of conditioning people to accept military action sort of on the streets, just kind of see it as a normal thing, you know what I mean?
This exercise is great. It really showcases partnerships and working together, right, in different scenarios that will require first responders.
Does it make you feel safe for having armed military and federal agents police the streets?
Actually, yeah, it does.
It does.
Yes, it does.
Well, how do you feel when you see the blue lights behind you in your car?
not really, because I'm a firm believer in what's going to happen is going to happen. You know what I mean?
It just seems out of place in Boston, and it always made me uncomfortable, but after last year, I'm sort of used to it again.
Do you think only the military should be allowed to carry guns?
Absolutely not.
I would say yes.
No, I'm from Texas. I think everybody should be able to carry a gun.
I feel it's the right for everybody to hold a gun and protect themselves.
I personally feel that everybody should be able to bear arms to protect themselves.
The Second Amendment says we have the right to bear arms, and the Constitution says that we have the right to overthrow a tyrannical government.
That's tough, because I also used to live in London, and they didn't have guns anywhere, and it was a big deal when there was any gun violence.
Honestly, I don't think anyone should be able to carry guns.
And do you think giving up some civil liberties just to prevent terrorism needs to be done in this day and age?
Wow, that's a deep question.
Yes, I think so.
I feel like it's a give and take situation. I feel like some liberties can be given up.
No.
Awesome.
We have, though, but I don't think it has to be done.
If they could give actual facts on how that